Salutations. Welcome. So, before I start talking about like how much I earned and how, all the roadblocks that I hit, I thought I kind of bring up I've been scrounging around on my PC and I found the original prototype version that I built in the GDevelop game engine. And here it is. Like, it still actually works as well, so if I tap it a few times, then it actually does kind of increase the number a little bit. The UI buttons don't work at all. I literally just got the clicker things working, and I remember being like super like proud of this back in the day. It's crazy like how far I've came since then. I'm going to continue to hold this up because I'm going to do like a side-by-side to the final version, and you've noticed that the UI looks very similar to the final result. And as a game developer, I know that's like a really bad practice to have. Like, you meant to have things very kind of basic and scrappy for a prototype version, and with this being the first export version that I threw out there, and it's looking like really polished already, is like a big like no when it comes to game development. So yeah, but honestly, like I said, I think it's so kind of crazy how far I've kind of came since then, back in 2022, like late 2022 to like now. And it's just looking back at it, I'm like, wow, that's quite like the improvement. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. You probably all wondering like, oh, so this has been out for like a week now since the 1.0 patch. You're probably wondering like, oh, how much did you earn? Not a lot, and that's due to my inexperience, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. And just there's a lot. There's a lot. So I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna put it on screen. In terms of like the ad revenue, I earned just under £4, which in dollars I think is the equivalent to like, I want to say like $5 or $6. The thing is though, I don't get that until, again, what you've seen on screen as well, I don't get that until it reaches £60. So that's just there. It's just locked there, which kind of sucks. So from like itch.io and the Bandcamp sales and everywhere else where the soundtrack is available, I actually earned a total of $40, or the equivalent of $40, because I think with majority of it I got it in pounds, but then I kind of did some quick research and kind of converted it back. So like estimate of $40, which isn't kind of too bad actually. And to be fair, that $40 is kind of paid for the initial price to get your apps onto Google Play. It is approximately about £30, so it more or less has covered it. So that's kind of cool. But compared to like the amount of money that I put into it with all the artists that I've hired, both musically and drawingly, that's not a word, but I'm gonna go with it anyways. It's still not gonna recoup like all the amount of money that I put into it, but and there is technically one other miscellaneous income stream that did kind of, which I've earned the most from, ironically, even though it's not directly tied to Gat-Pon and its sales, but it's more so like it's kind of funding, if that makes sense. And that's like Ko-Fi, and I've earned, at least the time of recording, I've earned like the equivalent of like $90 from just Ko-Fi alone, which is which is kind of funny, like more than the actual game sales at the moment, which again, thank you more than anything, thank you. So what I will say though as well is I am super grateful with GDevelop and what it's been able to do for me. But I will say though, I am switching engine. I will still continue to use GDevelop for like small kind of little prototypey stuff, and I still think there's like a lot of untapped potential to use it as like a website kind of development tool. But I'll put more links about that in the description, or is it up here? Up here, so I'll link a video there as well. And it's literally kind of two reasons. Number one is technically tied to this bad boy, because I remember when I first had it in my hands, like I smiled and looked at it and I was like, I'm gonna make a game. I'm gonna make a game for this, you know? At least that's the initial idea. I did a little bit more research when I had that idea in my head, and it turns out there's a lot of processes to get a game onto like a console such as the Switch. You need like a dev kit. Depending on the engine that you use, you got to pay extra money for it as well. And I think sometimes just Nintendo can just straight up and refuse you. But if that's the case, like, what about all the AI stuff that's on there? I'm sure the bar is so low that surely I can get there. But so it's more of a secondary goal. So my goal right now is just to get it onto Steam, and hopefully it's successful enough that it warrants a console version of it. So, you know, we'll see. So ironically as well, like, GDevelop is not compatible with consoles, unfortunately. It's only compatible with the web and PC. So I've got a Switch engine just so it's compatible with this. And so I'd rather just build it so it's just ready if that opportunity presents itself. I think, like, long story short though, like, I don't really give myself enough credit with the amount of stuff that I've done. Like, this game, ironically as well, this game got me like one of my jobs that I'm doing right now, where I teach game development to like kind of teenagers, like, because obviously it's so beginner friendly that it's like it's really good for people who want to get into game development without, you know, learning how to code. There's that barrier entry of coding and stuff like that. It's free, it's open source. It's crazy, because again I'm so baffled that again I showed one of like an early build of like Gat-Pon, not the one I showed you, like a slightly later version, obviously using the Godot engine, not the Godot engine, goddamn, the GDevelop engine. And they saw it and was like, well, that's all right. And then they hired me on the spot, and I've been doing it. I've been working with them for like a year now. So GDevelop inadvertently kind of got me a job with it. This game has got me a job, which I'm still continuing to do to this day, which is kind of funny to think about. Like, yeah. I think, long story short, I don't have like any regrets making this game. Again, it landed me a job where I get to teach it, and even though like I've lost more money than I've earned it, it's kind of gave me like a lot of opportunities as well. And I hope as well, like, I know at least one person that wants to work in the industry that I worked with. They want to get into the industry. So hopefully this alone helps them get there. They can use this as a portfolio piece for them to kind of break into the industry. But yeah, I've had like a blast working on this for the last, technically it's still 2 years and a few months. And I've learned a lot. I've learned how to kind of structure games, what to do, what not to do. And I'm super grateful with with GDevelop and the community just helping me out as well. It's been a blast, but I think it's time for me to move on to a different engine and kind of strive for bigger and hopefully better projects. So we'll see where that takes me. So again, thank you everyone who's kind of stuck around for the past few years. The people who have played the game, people who have tested the game, everyone a part of the Gat-Pon team, the Ko-Fi supporters, just absolutely everyone. It's been crazy and I've learned a lot, and I can't wait to continue to learn as I kind of, you know, continue my journey to make some sick and stylish cool games. So I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ta.